Gentlemen, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to be reacting to a Jubilee video on cheaters. Now, I have no idea how this video is going to be received, as it's very different from my previous style of videos. Perhaps you'll enjoy it, perhaps you'll hate it, perhaps you'll ask me to do more. But I thought it would be an interesting video considering my more, let's say, esoteric and traditional proclivities on modern Western culture, relationships, and how the youth are reacting to their digressions, let's say. So I'll shut up and we'll get into the video.
When I cheated, I enjoyed it.
Let's see it, guys.
3,
and guys.
2, 1, go.
Go, Shane. Somebody's got to be laughing.
I was there for it. I was there for the cheating. Like, let me tell you, like, I'm here for it. It's a catharsis. It's cool for like the moments while you're in it, and then afterwards, I feel horrible. It's like, okay, I'm doing this. I feel good because I'm connecting with someone, and I'm not connecting with my partner. And so this feels good to have this sort of connection with someone else.
Yo, this guy is so brazen right off the cuff. I mean, immediately alarm bells should be going off when you start to disguise your digressions under the guise of wanting to bond with someone, want to create some kind of social relationship with somebody, when actually you're just there for the pleasure, you're just there for the box. I mean, just say it how it is. You're using somebody else's body to masturbate with. Just say it how it is, bro. Nobody's gonna shame you. Well, maybe a couple of people are gonna shame you, but let's not start to pass some accountability for under the guise of catharsis. It's ludicrous.
I enjoyed it in the process because, one, my boyfriend at the time was 2,000 miles away, and here's my best friend's cousin, who is right here and open and willing, and I was like, fuck it, let's go.
You see how there's going to be some similarities and some consistencies into some of these particular individuals' digressions in terms of lack of accountability and passing the buck essentially to other people, other circumstances, availability, distance. I mean, it all stems from this weak will, and again, this pursuit of this pleasure culture that I mentioned so heavily in my channels. It's all about me, me, me. How do I feel good for me? This mummy culture.
Once a cheater, always a cheater. 3, 2, 1, go.
I think that's fair. I think that's a pretty fair statement.
I would say I strongly disagree with this saying, simply because people change, people grow up, people learn things. Just because I did this one bad thing when I was like, let's say 15, doesn't mean that it should haunt me for the rest of my adulthood.
Sure, I think that's a pretty mature answer. I would completely agree with that. You know, we all face these things in life that we're not proud of, and they're opportunities for growth. I mean, the more apathetic and prone to negative emotion will have this kind of victim mentality that life is against us, and there is nothing that we can do in the midst of, you know, all this turmoil. But there are lessons to be learned and lessons to be taken on board, and only if you have the strength and the will to apply them to your lives. But I think we'll see here in a minute that some of these individuals are serial cheaters, and they will be condemned to be repeating the same lessons until they learn.
As a cheater, okay, no, not really. I've been in several long-term relationships where like I've cheated from the very beginning into the very end of the relationship. And you guys are saying like I cheated one time when I was 15 or some shit like that. I'm like, oh, you guys are awesome. I was like on some straight fuckboy shit. So like I was straight up. So like what I was doing wasn't truly who I was. It was a defense mechanism. I have these strong emotions towards my partner. I really wish that they would listen to me. They're not, and so I'm just going to go and do something that makes me feel better. So I don't think that once a cheater, always a cheater, but I do, on the other hand, always tell every partner that I've been with about my habits and what I've done in the past. I share it openly because I think it's something that should be shared more often.
I think that's an interesting perspective. Whether or not I would be completely transparent in past sins, I guess you could say, past wrongs, I suppose that's a personal choice. I personally see it as something that you grow out of, and it's no longer a part of your particular personality. I used to be addicted to drugs, and I've done plenty of bad things in my life. But do I think that's something that I need to be completely transparent in a relationship? No. I mean, I see it from a perspective of previous relationship history. That may be important, but I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. For me, it's something that, I suppose it's something that I've never had previous experience with, but it'd be interesting to see everybody else's opinions on that.
I would be willing to forgive someone.
Let's see who the weak ones are.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, it's all of you.
Just because of the simple fact that I told my boyfriend at the time that I cheated on him, and then he forgave me. But then these things start happening where he's like, oh, but like, what's up? Where are you going? I'm like, oh, I'm going to a party. He's like, oh, boys are going to be there, huh? I'm just like, why would you do that? That just makes me want to like just go back to what I was doing. Let me just hop. Like, I can't.
No faith or trust
Yeah,
in me.
Exactly. That's exactly the reason. No faith, no trust. Look, there is a very difficult personal decision to be made if that is a particular event in your life that you have experienced. And it is not so much the, let's say, lacking of your love for your partner, or admiration, or whether or not you want to stay together with that person, but it is your own self-respect and your own willingness to allow your trust to be developed and regained over time. And that is extraordinarily difficult, and it can cause you a lot of suffering. Why would you go back to somebody who you know you do not trust and constantly have this anxiety, this stress, this inner turmoil whenever they're going to social events like this particular lady is saying? And again, be in the midst of all that just deep inner distress. It's not worth it. And that's why I say, and I hope many of you have the same kind of unwritten law. If your partner cheats on you, that's it. No more questions asked.
If it was the other way around, I still would have been begging at his knees to be with me because of how much I was in love with him. And I still forgive him for what he's done to me. And if anybody were to do that later on, I'd be like, hey, I've done it too.
3 out of the 4 relationships I was in, I was a cheater, but on that last one, I got cheated on. Cheating all throughout that first year. Second year, same thing through that. I forgave him for all of it. I was still the one begging him to be with me. I tried. I said I forgave him for that, but I didn't really. I still have a lot of hate in my heart for that. But would I let the next person do that? Hell the fucking no. Like, what do you mean I'm gonna get to know you just for you to do all of that stuff? Like, that's why we learn from our past mistakes, which that's kind of me being a hypocrite because I did the same mistake over and over again.
Interesting to see her make those comments, because she's the only one of those individuals that has also openly expressed that she has been previously cheated on. For the previous girl, the girl in the red, the fringe that's multicolored, it's a very naive thing to say, because like this pink-haired lady has said that it's hard to be rational in the face of emotional distress. It really is.
You changed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Only because before I cheated, I would have actually been all the way back there. And then I came here because I hold grudges. So I mean, I will be more understanding to a person if they cheated on me because I did it. But it would be really hard for me to let it go because I would always replay it in my head. For me, actually, the person I cheated on, we're still together. We're getting married next month.
I was going to ask you about that. Congrats.
Yeah, so he forgave me big time,
How did you
obviously.
find out? So you cheated with him overseas?
Yes. At first, I was just like, okay, I'm going to just break it off, not say anything. But he was so willing to fix whatever was going on, and he was like, I don't know what's going on. What can I do to fix it? And I was like, this is just what's going on. This is what I have in my head. Like, I'm unhappy.
Guys, this is an absolute car crash. If you are ever in a situation where you're committing to a woman long-term marriage and she has cheated on you in the past, that is a huge red flag. And listen to exactly what she said there, the reaction to her partner. He was the one willing. He was the one looking for how to solve the relationship. He was saying that we should go to counseling. He did nothing wrong. The lack of accountability for this particular woman is absolutely alarming, and that is what you'll see. And I'm predicting here, but I've seen it kind of simmered throughout the personalities here. Lack of accountability is one of the biggest red flags you could ever have in any partner that you are choosing to be with long term. If they cannot admit they are wrong and begin to do that inner work, that inner personal growth to become better, that should be a staple. It really should. And if they are unwilling to do that, then you should run for the hills. She's going to cheat on him again, or she's going to divorce him and break up with him because he doesn't respect him ultimately. How can you respect someone? If I hypothetically cheated on my partner and she took me back, deep down I wouldn't respect her. And you need mutual respect in a relationship for that to be fruitful. And she doesn't respect him. She may say she does, but she doesn't.
Cheating is always wrong. 3, 2, 1, go.
It's not always wrong, because what if that person that you're in a relationship with is like toxic? You're just like, okay, I have like an excuse to cheat on this person. That's why.
Isn't that more of an excuse to break up with the person?
I know, but like
cheat?
you still have benefits with that person too. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in this relationship and you're like, you have benefits, so why am I?
That's a hard part, right? It's
Yes.
like, this is one of the things I'm like, why I'm afraid of marriage. It's like, in some ways, it's like, what if shit goes like super south and like, I can't just undo this. This is not just a break up.
I'm a firm believer that no matter how toxic somebody is, no matter how horrible somebody can be, I don't think anybody on this planet deserves to be cheated on. I wanted to believe I had good reason, but I didn't, even though he called me a dumb bitch every other sentence. And I was the most ugly and stupid person that he's ever met. And I only exist to send him nudes.
I didn't expect that answer from her. It's a little bit more mature. Not the last part, but again, I suppose it might be naive of me to say that there aren't any psychological difficulties for women breaking up with potentially violent, weak, and aggressive men. But if you have that utility, we should always be exercising that over the more weak-willed out, which is, of course, cheating.
3, 2, 1, go.
I don't have too many experience with relationships. So actually, my fiance, he was my first boyfriend. So
Did you feel like you wanted to experience other people? What was the
200%. So yeah, like I said, he was my first relationship, and at that time, like I wasn't very confident in myself, my appearance, my personality. Guys were always looking at my friends, you know, and I was like, okay, this guy likes me. It's like, this is it, you know. And then as I got older, I just like more comfortable with myself, and I'm like out when I was in Japan, I was like, oh hey, people like I'm getting attention, like I love this, like not like I fell out of love with my fiance now, but it was like, hey, somebody else likes me, I am pretty, like I am cool. He's not just saying that, you know.
That's how lust works. It works in spite of love. And I think that would be my answer to the question. It's difficult. It's temptation itself. You can still be in love and experience temptation, and you can still act upon that particular temptation. It's very difficult. You have to define love, I think, and good luck with that. But that's why I preach very heavily that you should only have a very, very small sample of sexual partners in your life, because then your reference point for other people that you've been with becomes so greater that you'll never be satisfied. So if you're with over 100 women compared to somebody who's only been with 5 women, that person who's been with 100 women has so many other reference points what a relationship can be like, what sex can be like, what the parameters of the relationship will be like. And if they have that reference point, then the 101st person, he's always going to compare them to the other 100 people. And they're going to realize that, hey, this woman isn't as good as in bed as some of the other women I've been with. Or she's not as caring or considerate. She's not as intelligent. And then things just start to devolve very, very quickly for you. So as much as a lot of these red pill, well, not red pill, but more PUA pickup artists will tell you is, expand your pool and your selection and your game with other women. Sure, that may be good for pleasure and having a good experience with multiple women, but inevitably, if a monogamous relationship is in your future, you're never going to be satisfied because you have all those other reference points to choose differently. Wow, okay, so that was a very interesting insight into some of the, let's call them pre-cheating personalities. One of the things that kind of stems from me there, and one of the lessons that I think you should take home when having relationships with women, approaching women, and proceeding to engage in long-term relationships with women, a personality trait of accountability is paramount. You must screen and interview the woman you're dating for long-term relationships and for potentially marriage. And accountability is so crucial for some of those women, and even I'd say some of the comments made by the man. You need to have that sense of ownership over previous actions, and that is the precedent to personal growth. If you don't have that, you will be stuck in the mire of mediocrity and suffering forever. And you don't want that kind of anchor in your relationship. So that's the take home from this video for me, guys, and I hope you also saw that in the video. But do let me know how you found this video. I know it was a little bit different from my extended monologues. Perhaps it was a little bit more entertaining, perhaps not. Let me know if you want me to keep making kind of commentaries on modern Western social dynamics and relationships, and I'll see what I can do. But if you subscribe to anything of which I've said here, my friends, then you can subscribe to me, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care.